Hello everyone, so today's video we're going to be using some card backgrounds that we have, doing some stash bustings. We're going to use some card blanks already made to make some quick cards out of the supplies we already have. So I have an example of different backgrounds here, and for the first card we're going to use a technique where you can use either strips of paper to make a quick background, and these are backgrounds I already have in my stash, so the background's done. Or you can use washi. There's a couple great washi ideas in this video. So for this little piece here that I'm not using in today's video, but I will soon, I used these thin, really thin washi tapes and just put them on in a diagonal random, maybe it's somewhat rainbow, but kind of random pattern. And then this one I used a combination of reds, whites, and blacks of pattern paper to make, I think this is double stick adhesive, so I just, that's how quick and easy it was. This one seems a little more romantic, and I'm trying to build up some get well and sympathy type cards in my stash for inventory, so I'm definitely going to use this one for like maybe Valentine's or wedding or something, but not today. Let's get into the first card, and we'll set these aside, maybe bring them back for other examples. So for card number one, I have a background that I've had in my stash. These are kind of this is my favorite color, turquoise, and so obviously I have a lot of washi in that sort of color palette, so these are all in a similar color family, blue, blue-green, and you know, actually I don't think there are even any neutrals, and I just pulled out a bunch of those and then made this card base a while ago, and I just wrapped them around the edge there. So yeah, I don't even remember, I'm sure I got this idea from somewhere, but it looks like what I did was cut this card, or draw a line across the diagonals, and that way I just put them in the quadrants there. So, and then cut, you know, the edges. And that's how that background was made. Let's put it on to, this one's a top folding. Again, that was in my little stash drawer, and I'm just gonna glue this on real quick. Okay, so we have a beautiful, nice background here. Now, for this one, I also pulled out of my stash and found a nice little white circle, and I've already stamped on here. This one's going to go kind of in the top, so that I'm going to have this circle here, and that's breaking up some of that background a bit, but not taking away too much. And then I'm going to have a focal point right here, and another little sentiment there. So let me put this circle down. Now, I said I was doing all these get well sympathy cards, and the first one I start with, of course, is not. Haha, I just realized that. But this one seemed a little, I don't know, just, it didn't seem to fit with that theme, and I just loved this background. Again, I've got some more scraps here. These are just extras from something else I was doing, and they don't go together even. This butterfly die was cut out of some, I think, watercolor paper with oxide inks on it, and it's from a tonic craft kit. And then this is a stamped image. Again, I think it's stamped on that same watercolored card, but different stamp company. It might be Tim Holtz, but I am not even sure on that one. So I'm gonna glue, actually, I think I'm going to glue more in the center. So that my wings don't have to be glued down. And this is going to be the bulk of my focal point here. And then I'll just put this guy down in the center. Oops, way too much glue there. That's okay. And then I just have a scrap of white that I have this sentiment on. In fact, this is, I want to say this is from a Spellbinders kit, but I didn't label it. So, but it's a really, I love the font, and so the "You Are So" is right there. And then amazing, and so I think I use this for a few. It's a great sentiment set there. Oops, where? And I think I like it going all the way to the edge here, just here in the bottom. And this is one of my favorites, obviously, because it's got all my favorite colors there, and we can fold up the edges if we want a little more dimension and lift, but it's also pretty flat, so easy to mail. And this one's done already. Alright, for the second card here, this one's already in a state of semi-completion. Now for this one, I had an embossed, I've got a couple here, these still haven't been used, that, you know, I'm trying out a new embossing folder or something, and this was one of my favorites. It's a quatrefoil pattern, and of course it's on my favorite color, so I think I've been hoarding it for a time. Anyway, I put it down, I glued just a little strip of gold here on the back of it before placing it on this card base here. And then this was a die cut from my stash of Spellbinders die cut pieces from card kits in the florals. So that's going right there, and then I wanted to do a sentiment right here. I'm going to pull into my stamp positioner here for this one, and I wonder if it'll go just like that. And actually, I didn't even think about that. I want to do some anti-static powder here so that, oh, look at that, I'm getting all the powder on the quatrefoil, so that I can get a nice embossed sentiment. I want a sentiment. But you know what I mean, right? So I have this sentiment here. It says, with sympathy and love. I'm trying to get it straight on there. Then I am going to use some Versamark watermark ink and a little stash of gold embossing. And that is how it turns out. Really elegant and simple. I think it's a nice light color palette, still full of life, but it still has that sentiment with sympathy and love. So that's card number 2. So for card number 3, I had this background made from another washi technique. Now I've got these 2 rolls. I'm not sure where I got these, but they're wide washi. Sometimes people have these wide washi in their stash. This can also be done with pattern paper, of course, but if you happen to have this wide washi, it's great. And it's this kind of simple, not too busy pattern, but elegant. Works well for these cards. So it's, I think, is this damask? I'm not even sure. This floral pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and I just wrapped the edges around, and I think this was a full A2 size card panel or something closer, whatever the full length or width of the washi was. But then I cut it down to fit for this card. So I liked the elegance of having this white border, and this card base is one I had in my stash. Not sure where I picked those up, probably the thrift store or something, you know, pack of card bases, and it's white on the inside, and it's got this beautiful blue color that seemed to match very well with this washi I had on hand. So I have a simple, label, frame die set, throwing it around. That is what I cut this out with. And then I have this punch that, again, I think I got this at the thrift store. You can see some foil stuck in here because this, came to me in an old state. It definitely needs to punch some more foil to get sharp around all the edges. So I had a time getting a clean image cut out, but then I did get this, so yay. And this was inspired by a scrap I had in my stash. I don't know where it is now, but it just wasn't, it was kind of a light blue turquoise color, and it didn't quite go. I wanted it that stark or white, and boy did I have a time looking for it, because I did not remember that it was a punch and not a die. And so, yeah, I finally realized I should check my punches. I don't have very many punches. Sure enough, it was a punch, and I found it. I'm going to be trimming off the excess here. I just want this kind of decorating the edge here. Pick up some of the excess that looks about right. We'll give that a second to dry. And then I think I'm going to go flat with this, but I have, again, that stamp set I showed you earlier here, and it has a width, a deepest, and a sympathy. And I really liked that sentiment here, so I'm just going to go simple and elegant with this one and just try not to overthink it and place this down. I'm already tempted to keep overthinking it, but I think it's good. Let's just see what we have here. Trim off the excess. And I think with this theme, sympathy, simple is a good way to go. So that is the third card. Now for this fourth card here, I have this pre-made card base here in this lovely butterfly pattern. And then one of the other embossed backgrounds that I had was this butterfly background here. And that's a little hard to see. There you go. And I think it's a cream cardstock, but I took some Lime Burst hybriding because I wanted to kind of see what I had to bring out this color in this butterfly, and I just used a blending brush on there, and then to help it stand out also a little more, I did some black ink around the edges, and I have some fun foam I'm going to attach this to. This is adhesive backed fun foam, so the back side has this backing paper. I'm going to set this here for a second. So I want this, oops, it's not dry. I wanted the wider border on this card because I didn't want to cover up too much of the beautiful butterfly pattern. Now this, I wonder if anybody recognizes this, because it comes from a certain very inexpensive shop called Dollar Tree. I've had these for a long time, but it's going to be perfect for this card. And then I have a scrap of, I have not a lot of orangey colored cardstock, but I found one that matches pretty well there. And then I have a piece of black. This is going to be for my sentiment, which I haven't even figured out what my sentiment's going to be yet on this card. Rough edge there on my, and again I was using scraps for all these, so some of them are a little battered. So I think I want this like this, but I'm going to need a little bit of foam for the edge there. This looks like, it's not quite the same color, but that'll work. Alright, I think I've decided. I found a nice sentiment set here that has a variety of options. I think I'm going to go with the Thinking of You. And I had to do some thinking here because it's black. And I was going to do a white sentiment, but I didn't think that there's no other white in this card anymore. Not really. So then I found some embossing powder. This is a copper blush. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to ink it in the white pigment ink and put the copper blush on it. And we have a nice embossed piece there. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. And remember how we popped this up? I'm just going to take a little scrap of fun foam here to even out that dimension. Oops. And my little panel's on here a little bit crooked, so either that or I don't know. So this is going to be, yeah, difficult. I feel like everything's a little bit crooked in this card. Hopefully it all looks relatively balanced in the end. I'm not sure what I can do with that being a little crooked there. Let's place that down. So now it's time for our sticker. I wonder if the adhesive is, feels pretty sticky. Yeah, I think to kind of mitigate some of that crookedness, I am definitely going to place this, on an angle. Oh, Dollar Tree, we lost a gem. That's okay. I mean, these are not new from Dollar Tree. I've had them for years, probably. But That's nothing a little glue can't fix. Alright, here is how this card turns out, and we had lots of problems, but you know what? I think it turned out pretty good in the end. So, can you tell that it's crooked? Or do you think it helps having a little wonky butterfly? So let's move on to the next card. Now, for the 5th card here, I've got this beautiful background that I've had when I was playing with some alcohol inks. So I've got a white card base, and then I liked this yellow here that I wanted to stand out, so I cut some yellow card to go on the back of it. I think this is a stamp and some alcohol resist ink on there. And then the rest of it is just kind of the drippy, you know. Yeah, you can look on YouTube for alcohol techniques. I don't do the alcohol hardly ever. I have it, but I don't do it because I don't have a good place with ventilation. And so, and I don't know, summer's busy. I guess having the window open is just goes by so fast. So I don't get to use it as often as I'd like. But then when I did, I kept this. I think that the alcohol resist ink pad may have come in a Simon Says stamp kit or something. So that got me. That's when I made this. So there is the base of this card done already, using this lovely background that I've had sitting in my stash. Now, to finish off this card, well, gee, let me take this off real quick because I forgot something. Oh, that's not going to work. Let me just, when you glue it down so fast, so I actually wanted this to go under there. Rats. Alright, we'll see what we can do with this, because, you know, I'm really good at making mistakes. I want to put my sentiment on there, but I need to figure out what ink. So, I think actually black might go pretty well, but I might want to emboss it, because then I won't smudge it. So I have this stamp here on this block. Let's see. Get well soon. Yeah, I think if we go quick here, put some, I didn't do the anti-static powder, so hopefully I still get a decent result here. Hopefully there's not too much static on my vellum piece here. Alright, so here we are. Get well soon. Now let's see if we can tuck it in under there or something. How much did I get? Maybe this will help. Just to, it's okay if it tears the paper under there because we're not going to see that. So that should help. I want to, the best way to do this is, you know, before. Tell me in the comments, is there anyone else like me who's, you know, fixing things after the fact a lot? Okay, that's plenty of room there, so let me get this. I think that's right where I want it. So now all I need to do is add some more adhesive here. Stick it down there. There! Never fear. There's always time to fix it. No one will know. Yeah? Okay, I think I did a pretty decent job of hiding that. Now, let me see if I can get this one under there. Haha. Okay. I'm gonna cut out a bunch of fiddling and struggling with this, but you can see there, I got it in there, and now I'm going to pretend like that never happened. Get some glue in there. And hopefully I have enough time to finish this card because my battery's dying. Darn it! Alright, now, I also had some of these acetate stickers, and apparently I used half of it. This was like a double for something else. So this is a scrap from a like double sticker. But hey, waste not, want not. So I'm just going to use a little bit of glue here and get this adhered down. I think I'm just gonna stick that on there and wait till it dries. I need something heavier. There we go. Let's let that dry and come back in a moment. Alright, and then this card is done. And boy, was it a struggle, wasn't it? Okay, so you can see, you know, even if you get things in the wrong order, don't give up. You can still fix it. So here's another card where I have a panel, A2 size panel, and this was the wide washi, and I just wrapped it over so it doesn't quite cover the full A2 size, the width that I have. This is the full sheet of washi here, but it looks nice if you get these relatively even. I've just got the two edges there, and I've got a little top-fold white card base here. Now, before I forget and glue this down, this is a card where I wanted to do this vellum strip again, and the last one was a real challenge. So I think I want to figure this out first, and it's gonna go somewhere down here. And then for this one, again, I want to put the sentiment on there, so I'm gonna use this seam set that I had here. This is actually an old Close to My Heart one, I can see that. I guess they're closing now, or they're, I don't know, I heard some news on that. Condolences, it says. Here we have lovely imperfect stamping, and I'm gonna stick it on the back of my card base here. That's pretty good. This is a beautiful black and white look here, and I could be done with that, but you know me, I don't do simple too well. So in my scrap bin, I found this big black circle, and I also had some die cut pieces. This is a bit too big, but I thought I'd just, you know, glue it on and fold that excess over. So I need to add a bunch of glue here. And then this side, I'm just gonna glue back to the back before putting it on. And there's that lovely focal element. Still pretty simple, going with the black and white. We'll add a little glue here and put this actually, I want to twist it. Okay, that's about right. Oops, it's a little bit off to one side, but and then I have this, just a couple little scraps here that I thought I'd layer. So I didn't have a second die that was leafy that I thought looked alright, but I just took the same die. I didn't like how the two, whoops, I didn't like how these two looked together, but I just took a piece of it so that I can do, we're going to stick this one down, whoops, my hands are getting in the way, sorry. This edge is a little rough, so I kind of want to hide that. Maybe we'll just tuck it in a little like that, and then I wanted the balance. Yeah, come on. Okay. Now that I got that on there, I want to explain this. I wanted to have like a branch coming out of here. So sometimes if you just think it's not quite right, the die, try to look at it and see if maybe if you cut it out twice, if you can alter it or add pieces to your little leafy die, because I don't have a ton of leafy die options, but this worked. So then we have a nice, bold, elegant design, and I think it works for this sentiment, the condolences. Simple and elegant. Here are all 6 cards, again, plus a bonus one, which you'll see at the very end here. And here's the bonus one that I'd already put together. Again, an embossed piece of dry embossed, and then I added some ink over it before I'd embossed it. I just had that panel in my stash and went with the black and white simple theme. I have a little bit of dimension there, and we have some simple floral dies cut out in white. Thanks again for watching, and as always, have a wonderful and creative day.